Hello, fellow developers! So welcome to this first demo video where we're going to be getting started with setting up 3.js. So if you already are familiar with the 3.js documents and how to set it up, feel free to skip on to the next video. For this one, we're going to be breaking down the basic setup of, a torus spinning on the screen. So what 3.js is it's a JavaScript library that uses JavaScript and WebGL to display animated 3D graphics on web applications. So here, as you see, I'm scrolling through their GitHub just to check out their npm file, which you can easily do from their 3.js.org. I will be using vite.js, which is just, supplying all the proper dependencies instead of running it with React and Webpack, and this Vite just works perfectly. And if you scroll through their About and Why section, you can just read all about it on their website. So let's pull up our terminal and go into my desktop. From here, we are going to, I hope you can see the screen, we're going to do npm init at vite.js/app, and this is going to, let me make this a little bigger. This is going to give us the option to name our project. So we're just going to be calling this 3game, and press enter again. Here you could choose which language. We were just going to be choosing vanilla JavaScript, and then vanilla again. From here, we're going to cd into our 3game file we just created. And I'm using VS Code, so code dot is a code path to open up the IDE. And here we are. This is what the basic setup is from Vite app. We have the index.html, very plain and simple. And yeah, as you can see, we're just gonna open up the CSS styles now, and it's just a basic one, as well as where the main.js is where we're going to be holding our JavaScript. So if we open up our terminal, actually let's take a look at our package.json. We're going to see you have Vite here, but you also notice there's no 3.js in the dependencies yet. So we're going to do an npm install first, and then an npm install 3 or an npm i3 for those who are speedy with your shortcuts. And here you are, it's in the dependencies. Now we're going to npm run dev. And once you run dev, it's on the local host. And here you are, hello Vite. This is our basic component we see here on the screen. So we're going to go to HTML and we're going to remove this Vite app part and name our tab. So this is what the title tag does in HTML, is rename the tag of that web page. We're going to call it 3app. And refresh it, and you can already see it already updated to 3app. We're going to remove this div ID app, and in its place for 3.js, we're going to put canvas with an ID equals main. Yeah, let's do main. This is where our 3.js would actually sit. So now we're going to CSS. We're going to remove this app, and we're going to put hashtag main, which is calling our main ID. And we're going to make it position fixed to the top left, because often when working with 3, it tends to be slightly off page. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Position fixed. Perfect. Now we're going to top 0, which means 0 top. And then at the left side, right there, when you save this, now we are going, right, everything seems right. We're going to go to our JavaScript file now, and we're going to delete, let's move this. We're going to delete the document query selector that was here prior. Here, since we already installed npm install 3, we're going to import it now. We're going to import all, so another word for all is the asterisk. We're going to import star as 3, capital, all capitalized, from, and then the 3 module that we installed. From here, the 3 main things we need to create is the scene, camera, and the renderer. So here I'm currently making the scene, and we're going to create a new instance of 3.scene, and this is a container that holds our light, camera, and all our objects. Okay, now we're going to const camera equals new 3.perspective camera, and this perspective camera has arguments, and the first argument is going to be the field of view, and we're going to put the S70. Then we have the window window inner width divided by the inner height. and we have 0.1 to 1000 based on what we're going to see at which angle of this field of view of this perspective camera. Next, we are going to see, I can add this camera later and it'll be an example as to why something's not showing on the screen. So we're going to const renderer now, and renderer is going to be a new instance of 3.webgl renderer. And what we're going to put in this argument is our canvas. And so earlier we named our canvas main, so we're going to document.querySelector right there, and then we're going to put hashtag main, and this calls the ID of main right here on our HTML. So it's going to call that. Right. Now we're going to do a renderer dot. So you already see it's at the top left of the screen there. We're going to do renderer.render our scene and our camera. See, so it's at the top left at the moment, but we're going to be fixing that to the whole scene. So let's actually focus on that. We're going to do renderer.setSize. And since we want it to be the full size of the window, we're going to do window.innerHeight, window.innerWidth, and the second argument is window.innerHeight. Perfect. Great, right there. And this should, yeah, so it loaded. And now we're going to do render dot, well, we usually do the set ratio, but for now I guess we can skip and I'll explain into that in the next video. Let geometry, so now we're going to create what we want to see on the screen. And we're going to do a geometry with a new instance of 3 dot, we can attempt, you know, a lot of people do the box geometry, so we could try that here. Dot box geometry, which is just going to be a cube, as we're going to make all these sides 0.2. And after geometry, I'm going to make the material and make that a new instance of 3 dot mesh basic material. And we can also give it a color of yellow. I believe yellow is, let's see, 0x FFFFF. Okay, oh, 5.4, right. And we're going to do a wireframe of true. After this, yeah, so we're just reading a little bit of the documentation there. We're going to now make a mesh, be the new instance of 3 dot mesh that takes in the geometry and material. And it's going to mesh it together. It's going to create our shape with the material. After this, what do? We have to add it to our scene in order to see it. So we're going to scene.addMesh. First, we saved it. We're not going to see it on the screen yet. There are factors as to why we're not going to see it yet. So here, let's add a light to it. We're going to do an ambient light, and this is just going to light up the entire scene versus what a pointer light would do. But in this light, I'm going to put the color of the lighting, and that's just going to be white. And then we're going to also scene.add this light. Right. So now I'm just going to make a function. Actually, yeah, something's missing. I'll create a camera.position.z, or actually another way to do it would be camera.position.setz with the 30 in there. That should also work. And then now we're going to create that function called animate. So in this animate right there, in this animate function, we're going to be calling request animation frame on the animate, and it's going to tell the browser, you know, constantly update, because we have a, we're creating this function loop where our page is going to be loading and there's going to be animation happening. So we're putting our renderer in here instead of calling the renderer so many times in our page. Now we animate, and you see a little square pop up on the screen there. It's very tiny. Let's see if we can fix the camera to 3 and move it a little closer. That works too. Let's set it to 1. I actually saw a video of someone creating it with a torus instead, which looked very cool. So props to that person. We're going to put torus here instead of box, and then set these to their parameters of 10, 3, 16, and 100. And boom, that looks so cool already. Okay, so in our animate loop, we're going to be doing mesh.rotation.z, and this is going to be spinning our mesh or our shape at the moment on its z-axis, and we're going to do plus equals 0.01. It's going to be moving at that speed. We're going to do the same with the x-axis now. Rotation.x plus equals 0, actually let's minus equals 0.01, so it spins in the opposite direction. And let's do that for the y, but with a plus equals. And we can just see all that going on. So yeah, now we have a spinning object, and you're doing great. Now you have a spinning object, you're doing so well, and that looks great. I'll see you on to the next video where we actually plan out the project and game. Thanks for watching.